Welcome to this short tutorial which aims to explain the protocol of the Southern African Bird Atlas project. I hope to demonstrate to you that it's really easy to record data for SABAP2. It will require a small investment of your time to get going, but it will be a good investment, as atlasing will ensure many enjoyable hours birding and at the same time contribute to science and conservation. Many atlases will tell you that atlasing changed their hobby forever, all for the better. For more information about the SABAP2 project, please visit the project website. It is a treasure of information. You will see a summary of the data you submitted, maps that show the location of pentads and how many atlas cards were submitted for each pentad, species distribution maps updated live, and even migration graphs. This is the migration graph for barn swallow, showing when they arrive and leave South Africa. I will mention the BirdLasser mobile app in this presentation. You can obtain more information about the app on their website. I have also done a short tutorial about how to submit data to SABAP2 using the app. You can watch it on YouTube. Do not feel intimidated by the term protocol. It's a scientific term which describes a set of rules that you as an atlaser must follow to collect your data. These rules are needed to ensure that the data are collected in the same way by all atlases. Doing so enables researchers to analyze the SABAP2 in a scientifically defensible way. So please follow the protocol as accurately as possible to ensure that the data we collect are accurate. The data are analyzed and published in scientific publications such as the recently published Rare Data Book for Birds. I will mention two protocols in this presentation. The first is called a full protocol atlas card, which in short is an atlas card which complies with all the rules I will set out below. If for some reason you cannot follow all the rules, then you submit the card as an ad hoc card. If at all possible, always try to complete a full protocol card. Full protocol atlas cards are particularly valuable to researchers. The amount of time spent by an atlaser on a species list gives an indication of the effort devoted to the particular list. Variation in effort can then be accounted for in analysis of, for example, the distribution of a bird species. Knowing how much effort went into a list also helps researchers to judge how complete our knowledge is for a particular pentad. For example, if we have 10 full protocol lists for a pentad, researchers can be more confident that most of the regular species have been recorded than if only one full protocol list was submitted. Rhys Altwick says, for us data analysts, full protocol cards are more valuable because we know that a substantial amount of effort has gone into collecting it. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of the protocol. You need to know at least three things in order to submit an atlas card. The first is what a pentad is. Secondly, how to record the amount of time atlasing. And thirdly, how to record your observations. That is it, just three things. Cannot be easier. So what is a pentad? This is probably the most difficult aspect of SABAP2 to understand. So let's spend some time on this. As you most probably know, the globe is divided into degrees, minutes and seconds. The lines from pole to pole are lines of constant longitude, and the circles parallel to the equator are lines of constant latitude. I cannot explain this concept in detail here, so if you need more information, please check the internet. There are numerous resources which will explain this to you. The area to be atlased is 5 minutes latitude by 5 minutes longitude, about 9 kilometers from north to south and 7 kilometers from east to west. This area is called a pentad. Penta means 5, and as each block is 5 minutes by 5 minutes, we call it a pentad. On this map, the blue area indicates the boundaries of the pentad around Wakkerstroom. On the east line, the black arrows show the minutes increase from 5 to 10 minutes, and the red arrows show an increase from 20 to 25 minutes, increments of 5. However, if you do not understand the BAF, it's not a train smash, for there are nice tools to show you how the location and boundary of a pentad. The first is the website of the Southern African Bird Atlas project. You can go to the menu on the left to coverage map and see all the pentads there, as well as how many cards were submitted per pentad. Another tool is the BirdLasser mobile app. I'm going to demo to you what a pentad is on the BirdLasser app. Here is the Gauteng province. If I zoom in, you will notice lots of blocks with red boundaries appear. Each one of these blocks is a pentad, a 5 by 5 minute block. Let me zoom into one pentad, the one where I am, and indicated by a little blue dot. As you click on it, it shows the pentad number. You can also click on neighboring pentads to obtain their pentad names. So, let's say you want to visit Mapungubwe National Park, and you want to know which pentads are there. Easy zoom out and then scroll to Mapungubwe. Zoom in. And soon you will see the pentads for Mapungubwe. Click on the pentads and you get the pentad names. Zoom into one pentad and enable satellite view, and you can see more details about the area. So I think you will agree it is very easy to find a pentad, see its name and boundaries. As a birder, you know that in order to get a decent species list for an area, you need to visit as many habitats as possible. Wetlands to tick water birds, grasslands will have a different suite of species, and even a garage or school will host a house sparrow. So it is important to visit as many habitats as possible in a pentad. For example, see this card. It shows the data logged while visiting Rietvlei Nature Reserve in Victoria. The reserves fit nicely into one pentad. If we zoom, you can see I visited the grasslands, then the river running through the reserve, as well as the associated reeds and wetlands. Then I moved on to the restaurant, where I found some woodland birds. Then the hide at the dam to log some water birds. And in the end, even logged a few birds in the urban area, resulting in a good list of species. The Atlas protocol also requires that you keep track of the time you atlas. In the old days, we had to do this manually, but now the BirdLasser app keeps track of the time. When you enter a pentad, the app will start the clock until you leave the pentad. When you submit your atlas card, you will have to indicate how many species you have seen in each hour while atlasing. Again, the BirdLasser app does this all for you. The following rule is very important. In order to submit a full protocol atlas card, you need to actively bird for at least 2 hours. You can continue atlasing after 2 hours for a period of up to 5 days, but after 5 days you need to start a new card. So let me repeat that. You need to atlas at least 2 hours to submit a full protocol atlas card, and it cannot cover more than 5 days. Ideally, the initial 2 hours survey should happen in one continuous period, but it may be split up into multiple smaller segments. You might, for example, arrive at Holiday Resort on a Friday evening and only be able to bird for 1 hour before it gets dark. That is fine. You can park your cart and continue atlasing the following day. It is also important to note that the pentad can only be atlased once in 5 days by the same atlaser. Nothing prohibiting other atlasers for doing the same pentad independently from you. You can also atlas a number of pentads at the same time. This is not an issue, and the BirdLasser app makes it easy for you as it will keep track of the time in each pentad. The third and last aspect we need to discuss is how to record your observations. You need to record all the species you can identify. Yes, every dove, sparrow and bishop. You only log the species the first time you see it. So even though you might see a laughing dove 20 times, you only log it once. No need to record the number of birds seen. Even if you see 1,000,000 red-billed quellias, no need to enter the number of birds seen. Finally, you must record the birds in the order you see them. So in summary, you log all birds seen, log them only once, log them in the order you see them. You can record birds on call also, but usual precautions should be taken to exclude birds mimicking each other. The most important rule of all, if you are not 100% sure of the ID, leave it out. As all atlases know, when in doubt, leave it out. Let me repeat that. When in doubt, leave it out. As a birder, you will also know that you will only get a decent number of species on a list when environmental conditions is good. When the wind is howling or it is raining, you will not be able to get a decent species list. In such instances, it's better to submit an ad hoc card, even if you have spent 2 hours birding in the pentad. You should only submit a full protocol atlas card if you can identify at least 95% of the species in the pentad. If you cannot, please submit a card as an ad hoc card. If you're a beginner birder, please do not get discouraged by this requirement. Atlasing will help you to become a great birder. Begin by identifying all the birds in your home pentad and submit regular ad hoc lists. And when you can identify most of the species in your home pentad, you can submit your first full protocol atlas card. So in summary, atlasing is very easy. Decide which pentad you want to atlas using the available tools such as the SABAP2 website and the BirdLasser app. As soon as you enter your pentad, start recording the time. Record the birds in the order you see them, targeting as many habitats as you can reach. Bird for at least 2 hours, and there it is, your first full protocol atlas card. If you use BirdLasser, most of the info is recorded in the background while you enjoy your birding. It is so easy. Thanks for listening to this tutorial. I hope you now have a better understanding of the SABAP2 Atlas protocol. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to contact me at arends.retief@birdlife.org.za, and for BirdLasser queries, support@birdlasser.com. Happy atlasing!